Hi everyone, welcome back to the Geterbrewed channel. So today I want to talk about malt and the roasting process involved in malt. So we work with some incredible suppliers. So we've got Belgian malts from Dingemans. We have the best of British malts from Crisp Malt, and we have the specialty roasting malt specialists, French and Jups. And we also have, a deep dive look into these malting facilities on our YouTube channel. So we've visited Dingemans and showed you behind the scenes. We've interviewed Carl, we've talked about what malts excite him, and we've learned about the process. We've been to Crisp several times and shown you everything from the heritage malt varieties, the floor malting process, the RevTech roasting plant, and recently we went to French and Jups and got to go inside, let you meet the people, show the whole process, going through that steeping, germinating, kilning process. But there's a lot goes into roasting malt. It's the backbone of every beer. So we want to take you through that process a little bit so you get a little bit of an understanding. There's light malts, there's medium malts, there's dark roasted malts, there's patent malts. And we want to give you a little bit of an insight into how those malts are created so you can understand that. And also we've been working on a sensory malt project where we're going to teach you how to get immersed in that sensory profile where you can understand the flavors that are achievable from malts through making malt teas and even using distillation to try and really make those malt flavors shine. Okay, so look, recently we went to Stansted Abbots and visited the team at French and Jups, and we got talking to a load of the team there, but like one of the team members been there for 43 years, Andy, and he shared with us his experience on how to use his knowledge to consistently make impressive roasted malts. Buckle up, come on in and check out this video. We're going to take you down and show you the steep, germination and roasting. So as we were walking across there, you'll see there was conveyors above our head. So the malt gets conveyed up into the top steep vessels. So the steep vessels hold approximately 18 tons of barley. And the barley is soaked, a 10-hour soak and then 14 hours drained. And the guys up in the control room then obviously manage the temperature. 3 days of steeping. Once that's finished, it gets dropped down into the germination vessel. Now these vessels rotate really slowly and do around 3 turns per day. And the idea of what you're doing at this stage then is to get the germination, to get the little shoots and rootlets. And why we're doing that is obviously to get the conversion so that whenever we roast it, we've got that nice sugar, and then the sugar obviously has got the nice extract, which creates a nice flavour. There's 4 germination drums here and 4 steeping drums above them. You can see another steeping drum over here. This one is specific for patent malts, whereas these are specific for crystal malts. And equally, the reason why the rotation takes place in the germination is so that the rootlets don't knit together, so the rotation splits that up from happening. Obviously everything's conveyed back and forward, so we're going to take a very quick look in the kiln now. Look, I've brought you around here to give you a little look at the kiln. This is for patent malt, so whenever the steep's finished, it obviously needs to be dried out a certain extent before it goes in to be roasted. So it comes over via conveyors into the kiln. So false bottom here and hot air blown through and then taken out through the top. Once the kilning's complete, it then goes back over into the roasting drum. As we come up here, you can see this is pretty much automated. So Doug was explaining that the malt comes over. You can hear the conveyors just running in the background there. Goes into the kiln. It's dried to the set percentage moisture level that they're looking for. Then into a holding bin and then back over for roasting into patent malts. So we're just on our way up into the control room, which is just on my right hand side here.
This is the automated side of the maltings, moving the malt, controlling it, putting it into roasters, taking it out. But Andy, our roasting man, is now getting up to a point where he needs to physically look at it and compare it with a known standard, so he gets the right colour for the malt we're making today. This is why Andy is now coming and going. It's a fine tuning now.
Hello, my name's Andy Chalkley. I've been working here 43 years. The roasting process needs to be done by a skilled operator. There's so many factors involved in the fact that it's a natural product, varies from day to day, even throughout the day it varies, so you can't automate it. You've got to be here present to analyse what you're making, and also just in case anything goes wrong.
So what are you looking for, Andy, when you're doing this?
I'm trying to match those two colours. Okay. That's a 26 colour, that's a 39 colour, they're both caramel, and I want to get somewhere in between. That at the moment is not quite there yet.
It's just a little bit light.
Yeah, that would probably be about a 15 colour, that'd be a high colour gold.
Okay. And how often do you check this now to get it?
I'll check it every couple of minutes.
So minutes would make the difference.
Yeah, yeah. These sort of colours, 1 degree in temperature can make a difference.
You can see here now, Andy is in and out there literally every few minutes. He takes a sample, he cools the sample, he takes it in, he grinds it, and then he colour checks it. The reason you can't automate this and you need Andy's craft and skill and experience is because temperatures change, the climate changes, the weather changes, it all has an effect on the machine. All the different things and variables need to be considered by him, and he's just come out pointing and said he's good to go with this batch. Doug, the reason you're doing this is so that you can see the conversion within the grain to make sure that you're getting the consistency that you want. It's a visual test. What you're looking for here is evenness, an even roast across each individual grain. You know, if you're making a black malt, for example, and you roast it too far, you could pick it up with this visual check. We can see Andy's preparing the second drum. He's checking, he's running back and forth to make sure that the colour's on spec and that it's got it exactly where he wants to. You can hear the green malt coming into the drum that's just been emptied. So whilst beneath where I'm standing at the moment, there's fans cooling the air, and the malt is being mixed to make sure that it's cooled down properly. Whilst that cooling's taking place of the last batch, the next batch is already being filled, and also we can see over here that the tests are being done just to empty the second batch that he put on this morning. So look, every time I visit one of these maltings, you learn something new. They all have different processes, different techniques, but we sat down with Paul and Doug at French and Jobs recently, and we did this sensory tasting of malt where they had created malt teas, and they had used an alcoholic neutral spirit and did a malt infusion. It blew my mind, the complexity that was in those malts, and it actually was a very interesting way of learning how to get to know the flavours of your malts, which would then in turn allow you as a brewer at home or in a commercial brewery to be able to blend those flavours. It's like every good chef, you know, has a way of creating a recipe, and that was just an impeccable way, in my opinion, of learning about malts. Like, the malt is the backbone of your beer. It's important that that's of a high quality and that it's of a consistently high quality, and we pride ourselves in that here at Geterbrewed. Like the team here are doing grist analysis, they're making sure the malt's crushed correctly if it goes out crushed. They're all always commenting on different malts. You can see the guys in the warehouse, you know, they're learning about the sensory, the smell, the taste, how to use these malts. So look, recently I used the technical support and knowledge that we have from the wonderful people that we work with in relation to malt. We created a blog entry that's live on the Geterbrewed blog now, and I've popped the link to that below. If you want to get deep into the information, it's there for you to try and learn more about the process, but really what we want you to do is use our quality malts to make better beer. And we have nice sample packs for commercial brewers and literature that allows you to see, like if I use the Dingemans sheet here, for example, EBC, the aroma profile, dosage rates, all the varieties that we have, the crisp handbook. We have everything from you know, technical detail to suggested recipes. French and Jobs malt collection has got like a really good sensory spider map on it and in-depth detail on all of these different malts. Check out the videos to the maltings, check out the sensory that we did with French and Jobs, and just get to know malt that much better. It's such a great range of malt products that we have here. We want to share that with you. We want you to see the insides of these buildings, learn from the people that are making the malt, and actually consistently make impressive beer using these malts. Okay, so that's a look at the roasting process of malt. If you want to know any more, check out our Geterbrewed blog. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, and until next time, happy brewing.